Imagine waking up tomorrow with zero English, no vocabulary, no grammar, no confidence. Someone asks you, "How are you?" And your mind goes completely blank. Sounds scary, right? But here's something even more surprising. What if I told you that if I had to start from absolute zero today, I could still become a confident English speaker much faster than most people? Not because I'm talented, but because I'd avoid one mistake almost everyone makes. And we will reveal that mistake in just a mo.
Welcome to the Listening English podcast. I'm Jack, and today we are exploring a question that could completely change the way you learn English. How I would learn English if I started from zero. If you've ever thought, my English is too weak, or I don't know where to begin, then this episode is for you. Together, we are going to build a practical roadmap from the very first step to speaking English with confidence.
And I'm Rose. Honestly, Jack, this topic feels personal because I think many people, including me, often wonder where to start. There are thousands of YouTube videos, hundreds of apps, grammar books, vocabulary lists, and somehow, instead of feeling motivated, we feel completely confused.
That's exactly the problem. Many learners don't fail because English is difficult. They fail because they try to climb 10 different ladders at the same time. Imagine trying to learn swimming by reading 5 books, watching 20 tutorials, and never touching the water. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
It really does. But now that you mention it, that's actually how many of us learn English. We watch videos every day, save grammar posts, and download new apps, buy books, but we still hesitate to speak.
Exactly, and here's the interesting part. If I had to start from zero today, the very first thing I wouldn't do is memorize hundreds of grammar rules or thousands of vocabulary words.
Wait, really? That's already surprising. Then what would you do first?
I'll tell you in just a moment, because before we build the perfect learning roadmap, there's one invisible mistake that silently destroys motivation for millions of English learners. Once you understand that mistake, everything else becomes much easier. And trust me, it's probably not what you're expecting.
Okay, Jack, you have my attention now. You just said you wouldn't start with grammar or memorizing thousands of words. That's completely different from what most teachers tell us. So, where would you actually begin?
I'd begin with one simple goal: understanding English before trying to master English. Think about how children learn their first language. Nobody hands a 3-year-old a grammar book. They listen, they observe, they hear the same words again and again until those words become familiar. English learners can use a similar principle.
But children spend years learning their first language. I don't want to wait 5 years before speaking English.
Neither should you. Adults have one huge advantage over children. We already know how learning works. We can recognize patterns much faster. So we don't copy the timeline, we copy the process. That's a very important difference.
So if I were starting from zero tomorrow morning, what would be the very first thing I'd do?
I'd spend the first week building an English environment around me. I'd change my phone language to English if I felt comfortable. I'd watch easy English videos every day. I'd listen to simple podcasts while walking, cooking, or traveling. I wouldn't worry about understanding every word. My goal would simply be to let English become a familiar sound instead of a foreign language.
That sounds much less stressful than trying to memorize 50 new words every day.
Exactly. Here's a mistake beginners make. They believe learning means studying, but learning also happens through exposure. Imagine walking into a bakery every morning. At first, you notice nothing special. After a week, you recognize the smell of fresh bread. After a month, you can tell which pastries are new just by looking. Nobody taught you those things directly. Your brain learned naturally through repeated exposure.
So you're saying our brain is constantly collecting information, even when we don't realize it?
Yes, the brain loves repetition. When you hear the same useful expressions again and again, they slowly move from "I've heard that before" to "I understand it," and finally to "I can use it."
That actually makes me feel hopeful, because sometimes I watch English videos and understand only half of them. I always think I'm wasting my time.
You're probably making more progress than you think. Every time you hear phrases like, "How's it going? What do you mean?" or "That makes sense," your brain is creating stronger connections. Progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious.
That's encouraging. But what about grammar? Should beginners completely ignore it?
Not at all. Grammar is important, but here's the secret. Learn grammar when you need it, not all at once. Imagine trying to build a house. You don't buy every brick in the country before laying the foundation. You use the bricks you need for the next step. Grammar works the same way.
Can you give an example?
Sure, suppose today you want to talk about your daily routine, then learn the present simple tense because it's useful today. Tomorrow you want to talk about yesterday. Now it's time to learn the past simple tense. Your grammar grows naturally with your communication instead of becoming a giant mountain that scares you.
That makes much more sense. Instead of learning grammar chapter by chapter, I learn it according to my real life needs.
Exactly, and that's why many confident English speakers aren't perfect at grammar. They learn grammar while communicating, not before communicating.
I think many listeners are wondering about vocabulary too. Should we write down every new word we see?
Great question, because there's one vocabulary strategy that can save you hundreds of hours of unnecessary memorization. Most learners do the exact opposite, and that's what we will explore next.
All right, Jack, you can't leave us hanging like that. What's the vocabulary strategy?
Here it is. If I were starting from zero, I would not try to learn every new word I found. Instead, I'd focus on the words I could actually use in my daily life.
Really? I always thought the more words I memorized, the better my English would become.
That's a very common belief, but it often leads to frustration. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with hundreds of tools you've never used. It's heavy, and most of those tools just stay there. Now imagine carrying only the 20 tools you use every single day. Which backpack would help you more?
Definitely the second one.
Exactly. Vocabulary works the same way. Instead of learning random words like volcano, astronaut, or microscope on your first day, learn words that describe your real life. Words like breakfast, family, work, study, happy, tired, because, before, after, and usually. These are words you'll use almost every day.
That actually sounds much more practical. If I can use a word today, I'm much more likely to remember it tomorrow.
That's right, your memory loves relevance. The more useful a word is in your life, the easier it becomes to remember.
But I have another problem. Sometimes I memorize 20 words today, and by next week, I've forgotten 15 of them.
You're not alone. That happens to almost everyone. The solution isn't to memorize harder, it's to meet the same word in different situations.
What do you mean by that?
Let's take the word run. First you hear, I run every morning. Later you hear, the bus is running late. Then someone says, this machine runs on electricity. Suddenly you realize one simple word can have several meanings. Instead of memorizing a definition, you're understanding how English really works.
So words become alive because they are connected to real situations instead of sitting alone on a vocabulary list.
Exactly. That's why I always recommend learning phrases, not just individual words.
Can you give us an example?
Of course, instead of memorizing the word decision, learn the phrase make a decision. Instead of only learning mistake, learn make a mistake. Instead of only learning interested, learn I'm interested in. When you learn chunks of language, speaking becomes much easier because your brain doesn't have to build every sentence from scratch.
That explains why native speakers sound so natural. They are not creating every sentence word by word. They are using ready-made building blocks.
Exactly. Think of it like building with Lego bricks. It's much faster to connect ready-made pieces than to carve every brick yourself.
I love that example.
Here's another habit I'd build from day one. I'd keep a tiny notebook or even use my phone and write down only 5 useful expressions every day. Not 50, just 5.
Only 5? That sounds too easy.
It sounds easy because it is, but consistency beats intensity. 5 useful expressions every day becomes more than 1,000. 800 expressions in a year, that's enough to completely transform the way you communicate.
Wow, when you put it that way, small daily progress suddenly feels very powerful.
Exactly. People often overestimate what they can do in 1 week and underestimate what they can achieve in 1 year.
Okay, we have talked about listening, grammar, and vocabulary, but there's still one thing that scares almost every English learner: speaking.
And that's where most people wait far too long. In fact, if I were learning English from zero today, I'd start speaking much earlier than most learners expect.
Even if you could only say a few simple sentences?
Especially then, because waiting until you feel ready is one of the biggest myths in language learning. And in the next part, I'll explain exactly how to start speaking from day one, even if your vocabulary is tiny and your confidence is almost zero.
Jack, I think this is the part that makes most people nervous. Listening feels safe. Reading feels safe. But speaking, that's where many learners freeze.
You're absolutely right. And if I started from zero today, I would make one promise to myself. I would speak English from day one. Not because I'd be good at it, but because speaking is a skill, and skills improve through practice, not by waiting.
But what if I know only 10 or 20 words? What could I possibly say?
More than you think. You don't need perfect English to start speaking. On your first day, you can say things like, "My name is Rose. I live in India. I like coffee. Today is a good day." They are simple sentences, but every confident speaker once started with simple sentences.
I guess many learners compare their first chapter with someone else's 100th chapter.
Exactly. Imagine someone learning to play the guitar. Nobody expects to perform on stage after one lesson. They celebrate playing their first clean chord. English should be the same. Celebrate small wins.
But what if people laugh at my pronunciation or my mistakes?
That's a fear almost everyone has. Let me tell you a short story.
I love that story because it reminds us that mistakes aren't the end of the journey. They are part of it.
Exactly. Every mistake is feedback. If you never make mistakes, you're probably staying inside your comfort zone.
So how would you actually practice speaking if you didn't have an English-speaking friend?
Great question. I'd use 3 simple methods.
That actually sounds easy enough to do every day.
Second, I'd use shadowing. Listen to one short sentence from a podcast or video, pause it, and repeat exactly what you hear. Focus on the rhythm, the pronunciation, and the emotion, not just the words.
Almost like singing along with your favorite song.
Exactly. At first, you'll feel slow. Then one day, you'll notice something amazing. Your mouth starts producing English sounds more naturally without so much effort.
And what's the third method?
Record your own voice.
That sounds terrifying.
Almost everyone hates hearing their own voice at first, but recordings are like a mirror. They show you what's working and what needs improvement. The goal isn't to sound like a native speaker. The goal is to become clearer than you were yesterday.
I suppose athletes watch recordings of their games for the same reason.
Exactly. They don't watch to criticize themselves. They watch to improve.
You know what I find interesting? Everything you've shared today is simple. None of it requires expensive courses or 8 hours of study every day.
That's because consistency is much more powerful than complexity. I'd rather study 30 focused minutes every day for 6 months than 5 hours on one Saturday and then quit for 2 weeks.
That reminds me of planting a tree. You don't pour 6 months worth of water on it in one day. You water it a little every day.
That's a beautiful analogy. Language learning grows the same way. Tiny daily actions create extraordinary results over time.
We have covered listening, grammar, vocabulary, and speaking. But I think listeners are wondering one last thing. If someone followed everything you've shared today, what would their first 6 months actually look like?
That's the perfect question, because in the final part of today's episode, I'll share the exact 6-month roadmap I'd personally follow, along with my favorite free resources and the habits that build real confidence without feeling overwhelmed. That's where everything we have discussed comes together.
Jack, this conversation has completely changed the way I think about learning English. Before today, I believed I needed the perfect course, perfect grammar, and a huge vocabulary before I could even start speaking. But now I realize the real secret is much simpler. Listen every day. Learn useful words. Speak from day one. Stay consistent. It doesn't sound easy, but it finally sounds possible.
And that's exactly the message I hope every listener remembers. If I had to start learning English from zero today, I wouldn't chase perfection. I'd chase progress. I'd build one small habit at a time, 30 minutes a day, one podcast, one conversation, 5 useful expressions, a little speaking, then I'd repeat the process tomorrow.
Before we finish, can you give everyone a simple 6-month roadmap?
Absolutely. Month 1, focus on listening every day and learning the most common words and phrases. Don't worry about speaking perfectly. Month 2, start speaking simple sentences about your daily life. Keep them short and natural. Month 3, read easy stories, continue shadowing, and begin writing a few sentences in English every day. Month 4, have short conversations whenever possible. Listen to longer podcasts and notice how native speakers connect words naturally. Month 5, challenge yourself to be you.
That's such a clear roadmap. And I love that none of it depends on expensive classes or natural talent. It depends on showing up every single day.
Exactly. Remember this. Fluency isn't built in one magical moment. It's built in thousands of small moments that most people never notice. One sentence, one conversation, one podcast, one new phrase. Those tiny steps eventually become a life-changing journey.
There's a famous Chinese proverb that says, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now." I think that perfectly describes learning English. Maybe you didn't start years ago, but you can absolutely start today.
I couldn't agree more. And if you're listening to this episode right now, you've already taken the first step. Keep listening, keep practicing, keep being curious. Some days you'll feel like you're making no progress at all. Then one ordinary day, you'll understand a movie scene without subtitles, hold your first real conversation, or think in English without even realizing it. Those moments make every minute of practice worthwhile.
Thank you for listening to the Listening English podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next podcast. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and remember, every fluent English speaker was once a complete beginner. Goodbye, everyone.